All right, everyone good? Everyone ready?
Ready.
Everyone prepped?
Yep.
Okay. So, we start our story in the country of Rymor, a human kingdom central to the trade of the main continent of Amorsur. The entirety of Rymor is currently coming to the end of a grand 2-week celebration. The reason for this is the competition, a ceremony that aids the king of Rymor in finding his true love and therefore strengthening Rymor itself. After all, as everyone knows, true love is a powerful force, one that can break curses, save kingdoms, and even kill gods. And in these troubled times, Rymor needs all the strength it can get. However, that is not the outcome of this competition. Earlier today, it was announced, prior to the final ball, that the king's true love was not in attendance. Well, that must be awkward for the nobles. For the public, the celebration on this final day is only a little muted by this failure. Cheers are given for the king and his health, rather than wishing him luck in his new marriage. We find ourselves in a place where one such cheer has just gone up, a prosperous tavern called the Frightful Knight. A musician has just finished a song chronicling the life of the king's parents, and as the final note is struck, the tavern erupts into shouts of praise and hope that this king's rule will be as prosperous as his forebears. So, everyone, what are you doing in this tavern?
Drinking.
Alright, so you're drinking. What are you drinking?
Ale, I suppose.
Okay, sure, there's some weird ales here. There's some really weird ales here. The
I want,
owner of the
they have like
tavern...
a cool craft IPA.
Oh yeah, they've got one that's flavored with a little bit of some kind of relative of mugwort, which is a little weird. It's kind of cool.
Cool, yeah. Drinking some fancy ale. Nice.
Do I think this musician is going to leave anytime
Well,
soon?
this musician has left the stage. You can take
Oh,
the
cool.
stage.
I'm going up there.
Okay, so you go up, roll me a performance check.
Great. Do I get to say what I'm playing?
Yeah, sure. So the whole the whole tavern is sort of going back to its normal passings after this. So what you guys are doing is whatever your characters would be naturally doing in this prosperous tavern right near the large, very fancy castle. You're in the city, I forgot to mention, you're in the city of Pensar, which is not Rymor's capital, but it is where its most grand royal palace is. Roll your performance check.
Okay. So what I'm trying to do is oh, I nat one.
Well, what are you trying to do?
So what I was trying to do is just take a traditional Rymor folk song and then just keep adding ridiculous ornamentation.
So you all in your various different areas do witness this blue-haired high elf take the stage and begin to attempt to play a Rymor folk song and add more and more to it. Except, here's the thing, this elf clearly is not that familiar with Rymor folk songs, and there's something pretty off about it from the start, and then about partway through you have to stop or else your bow string, one of your strings will snap.
I'm just gonna switch it into a song that I already know, that I learned when I was only
But it's
30.
It's pretty clear you're giving up. It's pretty clear you're oh shit, I fucked up, and now you're switching songs, and all of you notice this elf is a little embarrassed. A little, thought you better than that.
Yeah, I'm hanging out with the bartender.
You know this bartender, in fact. You're friends, that's why you're here.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we're swapping brewing tips, and I'm eyeing a gal drinking a little ways down the bar and deciding whether I want to head over.
Yeah, the owner of this bar and the bartender, when she's around, is a sort of very large human woman who is part of this sort of network that you were a part of tavern owners and bar owners who are interested in developing very, new brewing technology and new brewing tastes and all sorts of recipes and things like that. And so you and her are having a very friendly chat. You've been staying here the whole 2 weeks that you were here, at this festival.
Yeah, right now we're arguing about the quality of the old-fashioned that she just mixed for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she doesn't understand why you would ever drink she's a very particular person. She doesn't understand why you would ever drink liquor not on the rocks. Like, she's like, don't try and hide it. Don't try and hide what it is. It is what it is.
Look, you're not hiding the liquor. It's like a good bra, it gives it support.
I don't know what a bra is because that doesn't exist yet, fashion-wise.
Oh yeah, because I totally know the history of fashion.
I mean, here's the thing, right? You gotta like it for what it is, and if you don't like it, why are you drinking it?
Give me another one neat if I've got to prove that I can do this.
Oh yeah, sure, go.
Alright, I toss back.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. This is something I'm good at. 7.
Okay. It's one drink. You may have been drinking all day, but you also know your way around alcohol. Even with a 7, your alcohol tolerance is fine. So you're not, you think in the back of your head, might have been a mistake, but alcohol doesn't like immediately make you ill or anything, and you get it down fine and you act like you're fine anyway.
Just a few less smooth points than I was going for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she's like, you're trying to play it off, and she's a little bit like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I go back to sipping my old fashioned and arguing.
Hey, did I hear you talking about brewing techniques?
Yeah, you brew?
Yeah, I do. What kind of techniques do you use?
Well, I've been trying to distill using trace amounts of some various different herbs.
Oh, interesting. We get into a very in-depth discussion about how to brew things and what herbs to use and, like the equipment that should be used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you certainly do. Do you talk about sanitation in particular?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that's more important for things that aren't alcohol.
Yeah. It is. It hasn't really occurred to me. I don't use alcohol.
You gotta keep things clean with your barrels, too. If you don't control what's going into your brewing equipment, you're not gonna have any control over what's coming out.
That's true, yeah. And I've always thought that when you make a potion that isn't using clean equipment, it can be quite bad.
Yeah, it sounds a little dangerous if you've got something magical stuck on it.
Yeah, there was this one time when I made this potion and there were trace elements of something. I'm not quite sure what. I was like drunk for the whole day. I don't know what happened. I didn't even put alcohol in, and my father was furious. I missed lessons. It was terrible. Never doing that again.
What are you doing?
I'm lurking in the corner.
Okay, there's some roguish individuals playing a card game.
I might be observing the card game from afar.
Okay, so there's about 4 people playing a card game, a dwarf, 2 halflings, and a gnome. And they are... Roll me a perception check, actually.
11.
Okay, at least one of them is cheating. They all know each other. They all seem to know this person is cheating. At least one of them is cheating, and they're all just fine with it.
Interesting. I am standing a couple feet away, drinking maybe some whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Staying very quiet. Yes.
All right.
Naturally.
Well, cats don't have sweet receptors anyway. Technically. If you want, you're pretty big, you're pretty muscly.
Yeah.
There's some guards who would challenge you to an arm wrestling contest if you were up for it.
Oh, yeah, I'm down for that.
So there's 2 off-duty human, well, one of them's a half-elf, one of them's a human, guards who've been sort of brought in for this celebration, and they're off-duty on this final day.
I'm wearing my, the guard's uniform I have back from, I'm forgetting the name of my town. But I have, in my equipment, I have a uniform with my rank on it, which I think is probably like my bodyguard out uniform. So, I'm wearing that.
Okay, so the half-elf is going to square up against you first. So this is a half-high elf who looks sort of bulkier than most elves, and has sort of a very sort of golden tan complexion. and dark hair, who is, like, looks like could put up a decent fight.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Is that athletics or
That would
strength?
be athletics, I'll give you that.
Okay. Awesome. So that's 27.
Alright, this person, here's the thing, this guy's not weak. He's, like, got you, and, like, if you were anyone else, probably, well, not anyone else, but almost anyone else, this would be a tough thing. But you handle it within, like, a second. Like, he puts it up, and you can see there's a decent amount of strength in his arm, his muscles are bulging, and then you just slam his hand down, and he's not expecting. You just smile. And he smiles, and he buys you a drink.
Good
And
man.
he and his friend sit with you. His friend after that is not even going to attempt seeing how quickly that went. And they talk to you, about like what it's been like guarding with like all these new people coming in. There's a ton of people here. This tavern is packed full. The family that works here is like running all over the place trying to get everyone's orders in and things. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean the nobles I've been guarding, I've been constantly on duty for the past couple weeks. They gave me the night off while they celebrate, so I'm just getting in some laughs before next job.
Yeah, I'm from Benvalor. It's the port city. Typically, we do a lot of like in and out of guarding shipments and things like that. It's very different. Walking a shipment some places is very different from standing on a street corner.
Yeah, no, I trained as a guard, a city guardsman. Wound up working mostly in one building, guarding the same people over and over again for a few years.
I much prefer guarding shipments. It's always more interesting. Things change all the time.
Yeah, there were some good things about there were enjoyable aspects, but that I haven't done that in a few years. It's mostly been noble to noble. I'm good ornament for them. They I don't usually have to do much fighting. I prefer it when I get to fight, but usually they just a show of status.
Yeah, well, if it's where you're from, trains don't exactly have a lot of reason to fight people.
That's not necessarily true, but yeah.
Not compared to, say, oh god, the halflings of Malgranda. They're constantly spoiling.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of fighting other races, but there's a lot.
They're pretty safe there down there at the bottom of your ocean, huh?
Well, there's a lot of sea monsters and elementals and stuff that we have to fight.
But you don't have to deal with people. Harder to kill people.
I think you're wrong there, buddy.
And you continue having this argument where he keeps arguing that his job is harder than your old job was, and he doesn't give up. And the human there is just sort of like... I'm from here. It's nice here. I don't have to kill people. Why are you proud of this?
I like this human.
Does anyone have anything else they want to do?
At some point, I'd probably switch from arguing from the other side of the bar to helping to work behind the bar, because they're clearly dying.
Oh yeah. Actually, here's the thing though. When you shift back and do that, the youngest member of the family, which is a young boy, he's only about 13 or 14 years old, he sees you sort of start to take over doing something, and he goes, "Oh good, I'm on break!" And he immediately runs over, and he sits down with what look like a bunch of really hardened, like, adventurers, and he's just like sitting with them and looking at them like with these huge eyes and listening to every story they're telling.
I roll my eyes a little bit. Kid's gotta have his fun, right?
And at that point, the daughter, who's about late teens, early 20s, sort of marches over to him and like literally grabs him by the ear and says, "No, you're not on break. You're still working." You can listen to them while you serve them, and drag them back to get a tray of drinks from you.
Tough luck, kid.
And he says, it's only tough luck while she's watching.
Fair enough. Kid.
I am gonna take a break from watching the card game and take a little flip through my guidebook
Okay.
and see if I can learn anything about this particular place.
Roll me an investigation check.
11.
There is a brief mention of this place. It's very short. And it seems to be from about before this place really counted as prosperous, so a decent amount of time ago. And it doesn't give very many details. It certainly is not what it is now. There's no mention of like really special brewing. There's no mention of, you know, like a large space. There's no mention of this sort of outdoor space that they appear to have added on recently, where there's some people out there. It's just says that they've got. It actually mentions that their goat stew's all right.
All right.
That's about all it says.
I'm finishing out my set because I'm phoning it in for the rest of the set because it's like, okay, I tried something, it didn't work. Great, here's like 5 folk songs I learned when I was like, you know, still a young elf of, you know, 40, and just, you know, finish them up, and then I go and try to fix my bow.
Okay. Before you get off the stage, things sort of. Let's establish where things are. There's a young human boy talking, sort of still probably attempting to talk a little across the bar to this large buff tiefling who's helping serve drinks.
And also doing a lot of like looking around warily and seeing if his backpack is still there.
Mm-hmm. Checking his pockets a lot. There's these sort of a little dejected high elf on stage just finishing a song, while half listening, half arguing about whose job is harder. Is a fair buffer even than the tiefling, like truly ripped Triton is arguing with 2 guards about just about guarding and what guarding is like. And in sort of a shadowy little corner, maybe perched on a chair instead of sitting on it, a tabaxi flips through a book. And then, suddenly, the world shakes. Everyone, roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Giving this D20 one more shot.
Oh,
Well, that
not
didn't
good.
work.
Oh no, I am not using this one again since that was a nat 2.
Nice.
Not good.
Join the club.
But I have no dexterity modifier.
I have a good one, but it's not gonna matter.
Likewise.
What's yours?
I'm a 6.
16.
15.
4.
7.
Okay. So you managed to sort of grab onto the bar and brace yourself a little bit, although some of the bottles from behind you sort of roll and crash onto the ground. You also perched on your chair are like you actually sort of jump in the air a little bit and sort of ride out the shakes a little bit like that. You're very, quick with that. You 3 are not expecting this. You're entirely focused on like, oh fuck, that's messed up, and now my bow might be down. You're in a very bad headspace. You are very engaged in this fight, and you are checking the status of one of your little potion bottles real quick. And so you aren't expecting this at all. And each of you find yourself sort of collapsed on the stage, on the ground. You're sort of got a chair half over you with one of these guards lying next to you. The other one appears to have sort of braced herself. You find yourself clutching a stool, only just having managed dodging one of your flasks breaking, as the 3 of you find yourselves prone. The sound of the explosion hits you after the shockwave of it. The great booming noise and the shattering of glasses and bottles falling off the shelves is all you can hear for a moment. And then the world is still again. And the 2 off-duty guards you were arguing with are the first out of the door as they run out, followed by the hardened adventurers who all appear to be sprinting towards the action. The 5 of you How many of you attempt to get out the door?
I do.
After we stand up, I try to get out the door.
I very carefully place one of the bottles I managed to rescue back on the shelf, and then I head over to the door to see what's going on outside.
I'm making sure my fiddle's okay.
I kind of take in the scene and go towards the door.
Those of you who are heading towards the door find yourself off-footed as you don't make it outside. You don't quite make it out. You, having saved yourself, are a little too slow. You had to pull yourself up from prone, and you again are a little slow getting out. Everyone you're all slowed down for various reasons. And you don't quite make it out when, again, suddenly, a part of the roof of the tavern shatters inward and something comes crashing to the ground, smashing through one of the tables. People are still shrieking and scrambling backward when a second flaming projectile streaks through the roof and crash lands, luckily, on the other half of the stage from you. But it's very close. Everyone, roll initiative.
Right. Now I roll one.
Much better.
Yeah, not bad.
I've got some booze to protect.
Okay. 25 to 20.
21.
Nice.
My dice likes initiative, apparently.
20 to 15.
15.
15 to 10.
14. 14.
13.
11.
Okay. So, Theo. So here's the thing. You all technically get a surprise round on you, but no damage is done. All that happens is these streaking projectiles that all of you freeze and watch for a moment. They stand up. And these little creatures burning with some kind of internal flame, seemingly made of rock with horrible little faces. They're standing in the craters that they landed, the parts of the tavern in sort of shatters around them, and the wood they're around starting to light on fire. Theo, you're up first.
What is this? Do I know anything about it?
Roll an Arcana check.
26.
These are often found around volcanoes or around other sort of very high heat places where the prime material plane crosses over with the elemental plane of fire. These are called magmins.
Magmins.
And with a 26, I'll give this to you already because that's really high. You'll have to be careful getting rid of these because they explode when they die.
Good to know. Ooh, it's magmins! Watch out, guys, they explode! Are they... Yeah, like, they're clearly hostile, sure. I will toss a frozen bomb
Okay.
at the... Are there any who are, like, attacking people already?
Not yet. They've just stood up. There's sort of one on the stage near Euterpe and one on the, one sort of in a mass of tables.
Okay. Do they clearly look like they're going to attack people?
They just fired themselves, or were fired by something. They just crashed, landed into this place, and have now stood up.
Right.
At any rate, they're setting things around them on fire just by being here.
Yeah. Okay. I will throw a bomb at the one on the stage.
All right.
Good lord! That's 20.
Oh, jeez.
Awesome.
So he can have a save of some kind.
I believe it's Constitution.
It is con.
Okay, that's gonna be a 15.
That, I believe, is the number. Yeah, that passes. So he will take half of this. And I double it for
yes,
the
you
20.
double
Okay.
the number that you roll.
Cool. So I'll just give you the numbers straight. 3 cold damage and 1 piercing.
Okay. So he takes 5 points of damage as already you this one on this creature, genderless, on the stage sort of rears back, clearly not expecting to already be facing opposition. Like, this thing did just crash land and is a little, disoriented itself a little bit. But it then seals its gaze on you.
Yeah, I'm
bit.
gonna duck behind a table or a chair or a
Okay,
bar
roll me
stool. Bless you.
so you can't actually, you can get behind cover, but you can't hide because you don't have that ability yet.
Yeah.
Next up in the order is Euterpe.
Okay, am I in melee with this one?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's not good. And the main thing I have in terms of spells is shooting fire, which I suspect will not work.
Probably not.
So, well, I think first of all, there seems to be this child who's weirdly eager about these things, and I think that might get him killed. So to try to stop that, I'm just gonna, making sure, like, my bow clearly has issues, but I'm just gonna, like, pluck out, like, an encouraging melody and throw him some inspiration.
Aw, thanks.
Okay.
I feel
You
inspired.
get 1d6 of inspiration.
And these guys aren't grouped together, are they?
No,
They're
there's
separate?
2 separate ones.
How far apart are they?
They're about 30 feet apart at this point, given angles and whatnot.
Okay.
I don't like being near this thing, so I think I'm gonna try to use magic and try to get it away from me and spend a spell slot to cast Dissonant Whispers.
Okay. So it rolls a wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
It rolls a 7.
That fails!
So you
it
roll
takes
3d6 of damage.
Wow. Can I borrow your d6s? Yeah. So that's going to be 9 psychic damage.
Yeah, so this thing, what do you do to cast Dissonant Whispers?
Oh, so I, like, the inspiring thing that I was, like, just plucking out pizzicato, I start, like, sort of playing it in a way and plucking multiple strings at once, so it's just, like, this really, like, haunting tune. It just
Okay.
takes a
So
turn.
this creature has just crash landed in here, stood up, immediately got hit with cold damage, and then turns around and sees this weird elf just sort of plucking, and there's something creepy about it, and this confusion sort of makes it give in to that damage a little bit more, and it sort of sways over, and as it sort of falls, Euterpe, roll a dex saving throw.
Oh, good.
You can have an extra d6 if you want, because I did warn you about the explosion.
Okay,
You have to use your bonus action on your turn to clarify that you're giving inspiration to someone.
Oh, it
Oh,
has
yeah.
to be on my turn?
Then
Yeah,
that's,
it's the same way that Bard Inspiration
Got it,
works.
okay.
that's,
Sorry about that.
well, that's a 10.
Oh, that's not quite it. It's actually really small, but okay. So you take 6 fire damage as this thing
Oh,
explodes next to
good.
you.
I'm now at 3 hit points.
This thing, as it falls, it explodes, and the stage is definitely on fire now.
But is my fiddle okay?
Your fiddle's okay; it's up out of the way, but the stage is on fire.
Okay, can I
No.
run?
Your movement? Yes, you can use your movement.
Yes, can I use my movement to get to a place that's not on fire?
Yeah, well, this whole place might be on fire pretty
To a
soon.
place that's not currently on fire.
Cool, you run and you hide someplace after totally murdering this thing.
I did mention the exploding.
Next up is Vantis.
Yeah, I'm guessing that the fire over there is a little too big to be controlled by frostbite.
You could put parts of it out. You could, it would certainly be something you could attempt.
Okay.
But if you're not careful, this tavern might burn down.
Yeah, and there's another one of those little guys who's probably going to be setting a lot more things on fire. So instead, I'm going to run towards the door, and I'm going to try to, go, hey, you little fucker, come chase me here. And I'm going to use Frostbite
Okay.
on the surviving one.
Alright, so
He gets to make a con save.
Right, and while I make this con save, you roll me an intimidation check.
Okay, I am good at that. That's a 13.
Okay, so that's a 12 on his saving throw. Wait,
Doesn't make it.
So what damage does he take?
He takes 4 cold damage
Alright,
and has disadvantage on the next weapon attack roll it makes.
alright. So, yeah, you call that out and you sort of shoot this, like, it is almost like a sort of a shard of biting ice at it, and it does sort of hit home and it hits its shoulder a little bit. It looks like that's a little rough. I'm touching my mic. It's a wonderful decision. I should stop putting this here. I should start putting it here. In fact, I'm gonna do that. There we go. It sort of takes this hit, and it does look a little rough. As you dash out of the way, but it's not its turn yet, so it's not moving.
Well, and as I move over towards the door, I'm just going to try to grab a couple of the more expensive bottles of alcohol so that my friend at least has something after this place clearly burns down.
Aaron, it's your turn.
Yes. So these things are like little, right?
Oh, they're small.
Okay. Can I attempt? Am I near the one that crashed in the tables?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Can I attempt to pick it up and throw it outside of the tavern?
Okay. Here's what I'm going to tell you about these things real quick. So, you can try. You can definitely try. Touching them, not going to be pleasant.
Like how unpleasant?
Like damage, unpleasant.
That's fine. I'm the tank. It's fine.
Alright, so we're going to roll contested athletics checks.
Nat 20!
That's hilarious because I rolled a nat 19, but that's not going to beat that. Alright, you grab this thing and I'm going to give you half the damage that you would take from touching it because you got a nat 20. So you do manage to, I think you managed to get like a little bit of your leather uniform between you and it, which isn't going to last long, but it does sort of take it down a little bit. But the intense heat is still, bad as you take 5 points of fire damage.
That's nothing.
And you pick it, you are now holding it like a squalling child.
Yeah. Because they crashed through the roof, so there's a big hole in it, right? So I try to chuck it like a football, like out.
Out of the roof?
Out of the, just like out, yeah, like.
Out of window or out of the roof?
Well, how tall is the roof? Like, what's the height there?
15 to 20 feet.
Okay, see, I didn't know if it was like a one-story or like a multiple-story
No,
thing.
it's like a big hall where people eat.
Okay, got you. No, so I'll try to check it through like a window or like through a wall or something.
Okay, roll me a dexterity-based attack.
Okay. Not strength? Okay.
Not strength because you're aiming.
Okay. That's not great. Do I get to add my proficiency bonus? Or
Do you have a javelin proficiency, correct?
Yeah. Well, I have proficiency with martial and simple weapons.
Yes, you can add your proficiency bonus.
Okay, so that's a 13.
Okay, with a 13, you chuck it. It hits a window, but you didn't angle it correctly, so it doesn't go out the window yet. Particularly because these are old-fashioned windows with like lots of small panes and bars.
Okay.
So it's hard to get it to crash out. You didn't quite aim it correctly for that. Roll me 1d10.
Okay. Where are my d10s? 10. These ones, right? Yeah. 8.
Okay. I think what that does is you chuck it, and as it lands, as it hits that, it just explodes. And no one's in the radius, really. You're okay. People, like either flinched back away from the door, like you didn't throw it near anything. You rolled high enough for that. But this place is definitely now starting to be on fire. this building is sort of on fire. You can attempt to put it out, or you can leave.
I'm kind of into leaving.
I would like to try to
and
put it out,
we're-
but I can't.
So what we're going to do is we're going to stay in initiative order for like the next round, and then we'll shift out. But these things are both definitely dead real quick. So you're actually up next to react to 2 dead things in the building on fire.
Yeah, I feel like I watch while everyone else is like attacking these things and all these explosions are going on, and like try to like quietly like scoop people into the corner.
Okay. So alright, so roll me just roll me a wisdom check to see if you can find a good place to push them. That's just plus your wisdom modifier.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, so you actually managed to find a place where one of the tables, which is sort of like it's a thick, sturdy table, you know, like was pushed up. You push it up a little bit more. You gesture in, and actually, the bunch of people who were cheating at cards run in behind you there and sort of crouch there small, and also the daughter of the owners runs in there and sort of crouches with you, sort of peering over. She appears to be looking for someone a little desperately. Do you want to do anything else?
Not at this time.
Okay, cool. So if we go, it would be their turn, but they never got to their turn. Theo, it's your go again.
I probably noticed that they're looking for somebody. I'm pretty observant. Who are you looking for?
As you call that out, she sort of peers over, sees that things are sort of done, sees that things are on fire, and looks around, and there you see sort of standing, not really hidden, not a lot of self-preservation instinct here, is her younger brother, who's sort of looking at all of you with this look of like, wow, on his face.
I'm gonna get out of the building. Want to come out of the building with me?
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. I go out of the building.
Okay, he goes out of the building with you.
Excellent. I look around for guards.
Okay. Euterpe, it's your turn.
Is there an obvious exit?
There's a back door that's still open.
Okay. My
That's
other
not on fire. The front of the inn is a little on fire now.
my other question is, so I have prestidigitation, which can snuff out like a small campfire, which obviously, like, this is way bigger than that at this point, but does it seem to be spreading like faster than that would stop?
I would have you roll a spellcasting check.
Okay, because I think what I want to do is I want to leave, but then I want to like stick around and try to like snuff it out.
Okay. Okay, so
From a
roll
safe
me
distance.
a d20 and add your charisma modifier.
Okay. Oh no, that's a 6.
Okay, so you are snuffing out bits of it, but the problem is that as you're running out the door, you're not snuffing out the strategic bits, so you're snuffing out sort of the bits that are newer and therefore keep burning pretty easily. You know, like they...
Yeah, if that happens, I give up and I just get out of there.
Okay. Next up in the order is Vantis.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to put out some flames and at the very least buy some time for folks to get out.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll just be frostbite, I think.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a little bit better. With spellcasting mod or just with
Just your wisdom modifier.
Okay, then that is still a 20, not net.
Okay. So with that, I would say with frostbite, you managed to put out about half of the fire that started from the one that just died and exploded on the front. You're trying to save the structural bits as opposed to the stage, which is burning pretty quickly but isn't structural.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that.
Okay. And then you get out of the building?
I'm gonna be the last one out. Since it sounds like there's still folks trickling out, I'm gonna keep.
Yeah, there's people sort of looking around for a way to get out and sort of get out across the flames without dying. Next up is Aaron.
Okay, so this place, does it seem like they're gonna be able to salvage a lot? Like,
It is at a point now where if you have a 50-50 shot of making sure this building is not burned down.
okay.
And if they have the frame, they might be able to save more of it,
But like the tables and stuff, like the interior is kind of destroyed, so it doesn't matter if I like hit things a little bit more.
Nah, that's fine.
And are there clear paths to the exits, or are people like tripping over things?
So there is a clear path from sort of the bar area where you were and sort of the stage area to two separate exits. You two have run out. Actually, no. Because you sort of ran over to the bar before the second explosion, the second death happened. So you two both got out sort of this back door that sort of, if the bar is here, the back door is over there is where you ran out. So there's like a little bit of a clear path there, but everyone who's sort of over here, there's definitely flame between. There's sort of flame encircling them a little bit.
Okay.
So for them to get through, they do have to risk the fire.
Okay. Then I'm gonna. Is there a way for me to try to clear a path on my way out for them? Like, can I like move some tables or try to put out like a little bit of the fire? Like, I don't have any magic or anything, but like, can I try to like stamp out some of the flames or something so that they have a path out?
Roll me a strength check to see how many times and how quickly you can stamp your foot
Okay.
before your leg gets too tired.
Natural 20.
You sort of
You're tap
have
dancing.
any like fabric on you? Does your uniform include like a cloak you don't usually wear, or?
I guess it could.
Okay, yeah. So you take this cloak that you're sort of wearing because it's fancy, but you also don't really like it that much, and sort of use that and a combination of stamping out to like smother some of the flames, pushing like the burning, pushing sort of the burning stuff, kicking it out of the way, and you do manage to clear an exit to the door from everyone who was trapped inside the circle of flames.
Okay. So I do that and then I leave.
Okay.
And like ushering them out.
All right. Next up is Dust.
How far are we from the exit?
You're about 30 feet.
So
30
no clear path?
There is now a clear path.
There's now a clear path.
30 to 35 feet is where you are.
Great. I am going to usher everyone who was hiding at the table outside.
Okay.
And who is still left in the building?
It's the middle of the day. It's like 2 or 3 p.m. So there wasn't anyone really in the room sleeping. Everyone was sort of out and partying, so everyone's okay in terms of that. It seems like mainly the part that's been affected is this sort of main hall / bar, the tavern bit, not the inn bit that's attached. So it seems like the only people still in the building who are sort of resisting going out, the daughter of the owners does sort of rush out after her brother. The mother and father seem to be staying back a little bit, making sure people are getting out, and they're not super pleased. They're like freaked out and concerned, but they seem to be looking around like, isn't there any way we can put this out? So they'll go out, but they're not gonna be the first ones out, so they're still in.
Great. So I'll go back in and attempt to help put out some fire.
Okay.
There might be a bucket of water behind the bar or something. If so, I'm probably going to shout out if I know the location of some water behind the bar.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
23.
Okay, with a 23, you do spot, it's not actually there's sort of a bucket next to a sort of large barrel of water. The bucket itself is already full. It looks like maybe this is what they use to clean some stuff pretty quickly, and it looks like you can attempt to put out the fires with that. So you sort of used your movement and your action, perception's a bonus action. Roll me a dexterity check.
14. 14.
Okay, so you managed to put out about a quarter of the fire in sort of the center. You sort of aim for a lot of parts that are. It's a little like you're trying to create a ring of wet wood around sort of a center of embers, because the water itself is not going to be enough to put out that central flame where the magma first landed. Theo, or at this point, I think, how many of you are staying to put out the fire in the tavern?
If I don't see guards coming to help, I will make attempts.
Okay, so what we're going to do real quick is if you guys are staying to help, we'll jump to a quick what you guys outside the tavern see. So this tavern is situated just sort of down off the sort of high-rise cliff sort of thing that the Royal Palace at Pencer is on. There is a particularly splendid ballroom at one end of it that looks out over the whole city and sort of the rolling landscape. And it is shattered. This is where the nobles would have been that final day of the celebration of the competition. The conclusion of it, it appears some kind of attack has been launched, and that half of that palace is gone. And that shattering debris, the remains of that attack, is what has landed in this tavern. And all around you, you see things on fire. You see people running. This area of the city is under attack at the moment. And there are guards rushing to help fight things. But there are no guards coming here at the moment because they are busy.
Yeah. I'm, like, are there, like, enough people in the crowd that I can sort of go through and see if anyone has any news from, like, of, like, what's going on in the palace?
There isn't a crowd, there are people running.
Okay.
There are people trying to run and take shelter, as it appears something is attacking the streets.
I am probably running towards where they exploded, like towards the palace, because that's where my charges, like the people that I was protecting, would have been. Right? Like, am I done protecting them? Have they let me go from their service, or was this?
Well, you tell me.
I mean, I assume that it would have been.
Were you escorting them home because this was the final day?
I think they gave me the day off for the party, but then I was supposed to escort them home, so I would be running to try to find them.
Okay. You find the way towards the palace. Sort of, there's like roads here. This is sort of the edge of the debris. There's more debris further inward. You can't get closer to the palace, and if you try, you roll me a perception check.
Not good. Perception. 5.
You can tell by the way people are running. Not from anything you actually not anything special you notice, but just from, you know how people run when something's gone wrong. People are running away from this portion of the city. And going in there alone would be dangerous. Meanwhile, we cut back to you guys in the tavern.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to continue frostbiting?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're going to continue throwing?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try hollering outside, "Come on, people, let's get a bucket chain."
Do any of you help with a bucket chain?
Oh, I'm running.
Yeah, I was kind of staring open-mouthed at the destruction, but then I heard about the bucket chain and kind of snapped back into it and went back to help.
Yeah, it's a good thing they water down some of the cheap beer.
From like her half-bent place trying to like drag another barrel out of the kitchen, Bevin, which is the name of the woman who owns this establishment, goes, "I resent that." It's a good thing people have shit taste. That's what you should say. They ask us. There are children who have to drink this. We're talking about this later. No, I'm going to use your previous role and your previous role as well. I think between the two of you, within about 15 seconds, you managed to get a good majority of this fire out. The danger is past. These people can sort of clear up the remnants themselves. And there are a couple patrons who are now that most of the fire is gone, this actual place seems free of attackers for the moment. People are actually crowding back in.
Alright, what was my friend's name again?
Bevan.
Bevan. Alright, Bevan, think we've got it under control?
We've got it under control. You should go see what's happening out there.
Yeah, good idea.
And you step out, and so you're running, Euterpe?
Yeah, if people are running for, I don't want to get killed by fire. I'm at 3 hit points. I'm going wherever people are going to take shelter.
So people are running back into the tavern to take shelter.
Sure.
Okay,
That seems dumb because I feel like if the debris got here once, it'll get here again. Is there anywhere else people were running that seems like further removed?
No, it seems everything's sort of chaos. People are running into homes and shutting themselves up, but these seem to be people with keys.
Yeah. I guess I'm going back. That seems like a really dumb idea, but I have nowhere else to go.
As you start going out, you crash into this high elf running back in, who's like pretty freaked out, but did kill one of the things. Like, was kind of impressive there.
And you're coming back out with me. Come on, we need an extra set of hands to figure out what's going on in the city here.
Okay. I'll warn you that thing I did, I can't really do again, and my other thing is fire, which I don't think works against these things.
We'll see.
I can do things that aren't fire.
Cool. Well, then that's at least 3 of us.
I scurry out of the tavern and catch up to the group.
Also, can anyone heal? Because I kind of got exploded on.
You can also
Yeah, you
take a
did.
short rest before you run back out, if any of you have anything you'd like
We'll
to
just sit
replenish.
down and have some relaxing time.
Well,
Am I
It's
within
about
like?
10 minutes to regroup after the world broke.
Are they like? Can I see them? How far away am I?
So you're probably, there's like about 15 feet past the end of the road with the tavern. You can probably hear them. That's where the debris sort of piles up too much and it's hard to get through. This was pretty close.
Alright, I head back.
So you can probably hear them gathering up people to head out.
Yeah, I head back and meet up with them.
So it's
And actually,
cool.
as you consider taking a short rest, what you do get is a 13-year-old kid with stars in his eyes runs up to you and presses something he appears to have gotten out, and he does have his sister running after him, sort of being like, "What the? No! No! Ah!" As he presses a common healing potion into your hand and says, "Go save the city. You're gonna be amazing."
I'll drink it, yeah. I probably look it over to make sure that, like, it is like a young child giving this to me.
Roll, it's fine. Roll 2d4 plus 2, and the sister gets there just as you come, and she's
2d4 plus 2 for talent?
yeah,
I thought it was 1d.
No, it's
no, 2d4 plus 2.
Okay.
As the sister sort of comes just as you up, and the rest of it, and she's like,
Oh, I'm back up to full.
"We spent a lot of money on that. It's for the tavern."
Here.
It'll be my performance
No.
fee.
It's fine. You, and she points at her little brother, you get to come with me now because you've just lost your insurance for being out in the city or doing anything while any of this is going on. Yeah, back in, and she sort of herds him back in as he seems to want to run around. He's very excited by all of this. This is incredible. And as you go, he does call out back to all of you, like, "Tell me everything about it when you're back."
sure thing, kid.
And now you sort of find yourselves in front of a ruined portion of Penser. This is sort of the older portion of it, potentially less stable buildings built out of older materials, closer to the royal palace that sort of spawned all of it.
I have to get into that palace.
Why?
That seems dangerous.
I am still hired to protect nobles who would have been there when it exploded, and I have to get to them and make sure they're okay.
You need help talking your way in?
Yeah, or I don't know, getting past. I just tried to get there, and it seems like rubble and debris have piled up, and it's just hard getting in there.
And there will
like,
probably
physically.
be plenty of folks closer to the center of the city who could use our help.
Yeah, and
Um,
I'm sure there's still lots of these monsters around.
Can I just listen for like screams, chaos?
Roll me a perception check.
That is 21.
With a 21, you do hear, it's not exactly screams so much as it is, there's like one or two that are scattered. This was where the main portion of the celebration had gone up. This is where the food carts were, where some of the games were. And part of the reason you guys were all in this tavern is that people had been taking a little bit of a break. You know, that's sort of like a midday break in this sort of warm springish weather, to go and, you know, eat and drink and sing before heading back to play more games and have more dances and celebrations. So there's not as many people as there could have been. But the city itself is packed. People have come from all over. This is a celebration that theoretically could only happen once in a lifetime, because the king's looking for his true love. So people had come from all over, and there are all sorts of people here who don't know where they are or what they're doing or where is safe to hide. There's definitely noise coming from in there. It is hard to distinguish where in particular, because there is not a particular order to it.
Okay, well, that direction seems as good as any to help folks out.
Maybe if we get closer, we can find out what happened in the castle. I feel like if we know, say, if this was an attack on any particular person, it would help us understand what's going on here. Just, no, this is clearly not a random attack.
Why would anyone do this?
Oh, I can think of lots of reasons.
So many people are hurt.
Yeah, I can think of lots of reasons.
We should help them.
Oh, yeah, probably.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So you press in. How are you getting past a wall of debris? Are you looking for a way in, or are you going to try and clear your own way?
How tall is this wall of debris?
It's about 10 feet.
How climbable is this wall of debris?
Well, it's a little on fire a little
yeah.
bit. So, like, if you put out the fire, probably decently climbable. It's not like a sheer wall. It's like things piled.
Yeah, I say we put out the fire and just try to clamber over.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Seems faster than any other approach.
Yeah. And that gives a clearer path for folks trying to get out this way.
Yeah.
So using a combination of techniques that you've used previously, notably your frostbite helps. You help tell her where to aim it. You're very familiar with fires.
And putting them out.
Yeah, putting them out. You know, things happen, okay? Things
Yeah.
happen. And you manage to sort of, I think do you want to be the scout? Do you want to scurry up? You're
Yeah.
faster at yeah. So you climb up, once they put out the fire, you climb up pretty easily as quickly as you can and perch on top and roll me a perception check as you peer into this old portion of the city.
15.
With a 15, you spot, from this position, there's definitely people. The road sort of continues a little bit and then splits. To your left, it looks like there's some kind of commotion.
Alright. Hey guys, it looks like there's something going on if we take the left fork. So let's.
Okay.
Alright, I think we should go that way and check it out.
Yeah, let's see what we find.
Seems as good a plan as any.
Okay. You have a climb speed, so you're fine. Everyone who does not have a climb speed, roll me athletics.
I don't suppose acrobatics could help here.
No.
Oh, good.
25.
Unless you're a tabaxi, because tabaxi are ridiculous.
That's a 16.
12.
7.
25.
So three of you scramble up a little, varying degrees of like things slipping and finding good places to pull up and having actually muscles to haul yourself up. One of you, you sort of help point you can theoretically find a good way to go, except once you actually get up there, you're sort of like a little stuck. You're sort of not quite. you hit a growth spurt kind of recently, and it's a little, you're not super still familiar with like where your limbs end, and you actually sort of slip and scrape up your elbow a little bit, and you can't get up on your own.
Can I get my hand up?
Yeah, roll another athletics check.
Modified 20.
Yeah, as you're sort of nursing this scraped elbow, blue-skinned, right?
Yeah.
Reaches down and,
Thanks.
and just easily hauls you. It's so, he's light as a feather. He should probably eat more.
Yeah. You get enough to eat, kid?
Yeah, I get plenty to eat.
You're a little scrawny.
Well, I read a lot and do, alchemy and stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
I don't really get out much.
Nothing
What
wrong
are you
with that.
reading?
As the fire
Oh, I mean, I assume we're like making conversation as we're
Yeah, I mean, I assume we're walking.
You're standing on top of the pile of
No, I'm trying to get to know these people I randomly have to go save a city with.
I do alchemy a lot. I make potions and stuff. I know about herbs and things. I'm really useful, I promise. I just am not very good at climbing, okay? I'm Theo, by the way.
Eutropy, hi.
Just to clarify for the audience, this scrawny, mid-teens kid, human, with sort of, definitely some charcoal smudges now from rolling around on the ground, carrying sort of like a bunch of different vials, sort of. Do you have a belt for it, or is it in your bag?
I think I have both.
Okay, so a little on the belt, a little like bag. Very careful about those, not necessarily careful about a whole lot of other things all the time. Is sort of. Are you shaking hands?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do
assuming
a
that's
very...
like custom.
That's sort of it's a pretty universal custom
Yeah.
in this, because I didn't think about greeting customs. It's not what Kirtor elves do, but you adjusted, because what Kirtor elves do takes 10 minutes.
Humans and their time constraints.
And standing in front of you is a tall, willowy, I would say, silver-skinned, blue-haired half-elf clutching...
Not half elf.
Not half-elf, full elf. High elf is what I meant. Half and high both start with H. High elf with clutching a very fancy fiddle that she's been doing some very good work with. Well, as long as she's not actually performing.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the performance. And what are your names?
Oh, I'm Vantus.
And you, how tall are you, by the way?
About 5'6".
Okay, so shorter than a lot of people here, I think. I think most of you are actually taller than that. But definitely buffer than 3/5 of you. This bright red-skinned tiefling with a golden lion tattoo is exposed at the moment, who, it's older than the rest of you, a little more sure of herself, and is definitely friends with the people who ran that tavern y'all were just in.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I shake everybody's hand.
Dust. My tail gives a little flick. Can we get down? Can we get on?
Sorry, I've been assuming we were walking.
No, I think you all stopped to have this moment. Because I like that you all were like, oh, thank God, we're at the top of this wall. I don't know any of your names.
That's
I feel
totally
like you all
a
got
Theo
distracted,
thing.
and I was like,
Oh, yeah,
What color
that's
is your fur,
right.
by the way?
There's fire.
it's tabby catish.
Okay. Do you have a
Like
hood?
what type of tabby?
Of the gray brown variety.
I'm going to show you a picture of Hobbs, because I think that's what you look like.
And I kind of have a short cape with a.
Oh no, I went up too far. How did that happen? here's a better thing, going to Instagram for it. Where it will be easier to find the pictures of my cats.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Oh.
Aww.
With like the natural eyeshadow eyeliner light that I assume he's very good coloring. I only have pictures of him with his eyes closed. Here's one with his eyes open. So you're sort of perched a little bit. I think you're actually on the ground so you're shorter than the rest of them now, and you're sort of calling up. But I think, do you have like a dark hood up or something?
Yeah, I have a cape with a hood on it.
Mm-hmm. Who seems to be a little more focused on a little less easily distracted than the rest of you.
Yes.
Very curious at the moment, very focused. Do you introduce yourself?
Yeah. I'm Aaron.
Hi, Aaron. You're not a bandit, are you?
No.
Or in the employ of bandits? Or of people who might employ bandits?
I am a bodyguard for a noble family.
Great! Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We can unpack that one later.
Yes.
And the sort of like a little weirded out, a little like, oh god. Triton in front of you is, how tall are you? I forgot to ask.
I am like 5'9".
Okay, yeah, so decently tall, very like super ripped. Like not as ripped as you possibly could be, but pretty ripped. You know, Triton with sort of blue skin. I think in this universe, Tritons have like sort of tiny gills. Like you can make them stand out if you want to. I think yours are a little hidden at the moment on either side of the neck. Thinned ears a little bit, probably.
Yeah.
Dressed in a very sturdy, standard, not particularly like specially decorated or anything. Just like looks like a uniform
Got it.
with a burnt cloak.
Yeah.
As you head off further into the city, who takes point?
I'm gonna take point.
Roll perception.
17.
With a 17, you round the corner and you see further down. You also rolled me stealth. Are you trying to be stealthy?
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Mod 20.
Mod 20. Okay. You sort of, because you weren't doing this whole introducing yourself thing, you sort of pull out ahead of the rest of the group. You round the corner, you peer down. There's definitely some kind of fight happening down there, or not fight. There's something happening. There's people sort of cowering and hiding a little bit. There's something weird down there. You might be able to get the drop on it if you guys were careful walking up.
Alright. Turn around and shush everyone who is chatting about books.
We're decisively not chatting about books, by the way.
And hey guys, there's something going on up there. Let's keep a low profile.
Okay.
All right.
I look visibly unhappy.
Good lord.
Okay, so you all roll stealth.
Oh, not good. That is not a good roll.
Ooh.
So
23.
17.
19.
4.
So I'm gonna give you guys this. I'm gonna say, most of you managed to sneak close. All right. Those of you who rolled high enough stealth are going to have a surprise round. You do not get a surprise round as you sort of clank along, and they focus in on you. And what you see as you get closer is a very strange sight. There's humans. They look like people who live here. You know, this is a human-populated city mainly. Cowering sort of half behind some debris, hiding from two creatures. They stand on... They're sort of hunting through the rubble. They appear to be muttering to themselves in some language. They carry Each one carries a scimitar and a shield, but they are tall, thin, red, orange scaled, sort of a wide mouth and two sort of bugged out eyes on either side, and long curling tails. They stand quite tall. They do appear to be talking to one another. They do carry swords. And those of you who have a surprise round will get a surprise round on them as they hunt through the rubble. They look a little funny, to be honest. Like, it's hard to look at them and think this is a serious creature in a way. They've got this wide mouth and these bugged out eyes, and they look kind of... You'd almost laugh if you saw them drawn in a book. So at that point, everyone roll initiative. As I do our initiative count here and get a picture of my
Rolling really bad initiative.
I think I found a d20 that actually works.
because it gives you a range of options as opposed to
As opposed to ones and twos.
or all 20s.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my die. It doesn't roll like this in Kelsey's campaign.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing the uniform is just like clothing, but then I have my chainmail underneath, right?
Okay,
Is
yeah.
that how like I can do that?
Well, as long as you have some layer of cloth between yourself and the chainmail,
Please.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
I'm sure I have
As
like
long as-
underclothes and like an undershirt or whatever,
Yeah,
and then
I
like,
mean, you still
chainmail.
flank.
Yes, but I just want to make sure that I have my chainmail on me so that my armor
Yes.
class is what it
Your
says
armor
it
class is what it is.
Okay.
Do you have more than one set of clothes?
I have my chainmail and then I have the uniform with my rank.
Okay.
So I
The chainmail is probably part of your uniform with your, like, you can wear either separately theoretically, but they're probably made to fit together.
okay.
So 25 to 20.
20. Or no, not 20. I can't add. I'm at 18.
20 to 15.
18.
Oh, 15.
15 to 10.
11.
Oh, I forgot to roll for them. Alright. Uh, 10 to 5.
9.
Uh, 5 to 0.
2.
So it's gonna be ages before you go.
I know. There's not gonna be anything left to hit.
You say that. Surprise round. Euterpe.
Do these things look fire-based?
Oh, super fire based. They're very bright red.
What's even the point if I can't use my cool magic? I guess I'll use a short bow and just try to shoot them.
Okay, roll and attack.
That's a 15.
Your arrow hits them, but burns up and doesn't do any damage. As they turn to focus on you, you guys do still have a surprise round, but they definitely now know you're here. Theo, it's your turn.
I'm gonna throw a frozen bomb. Are they within 5 feet of each other?
I think they're within 10 feet of each other. They were a little separate, sort of
Okay.
rooting through some debris.
I have a 5-foot radius, so if I hit the square between them, can I hit?
Yes.
Cool. That is a 17 to hit the square.
Okay, so they roll con saving throws?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a 11
Fails.
and a 12.
Fails.
Okay.
Wow. 1 cold and 2 piercing.
Alright. So they both take that. They don't necessarily look... They seem pretty shocked.
Mostly offended, not actually harmed.
Yeah, how much piercing was that again?
2.
Yeah, mostly they're just now very aware that you're here. As they turn to face you. Vantis, you're up.
Alright, I'm going to cast Fairy Fire.
All right.
So they both get dex saving throws.
Okay.
And if there's anything else in the 20-foot square with them in it.
Okay, they both fail those dex saving throws. There's nothing. I'd say you can angle it so the people that are hiding from
Yeah,
them.
I mean, I'm trying to avoid the people. I'm just saying that if there's any
Yeah.
invisible thingies.
So they both fail.
Okay. So, yeah, they are now both outlined in light, and any attack against them is going to have advantage.
Thanks.
All right. Dust, you're up.
I am. I'm gonna throw a dagger their way.
Okay. So roll a dexterity-based attack. So that's roll a d20, add your proficiency bonus, and your dexterity modifier. That hits. Roll your damage. Are you throwing? I'll just. They're both at the same health, so I'll pick one for you to throw it at.
Great. Well,
Plus your dexterity modifier,
so 4.
because it's a thrown weapon. Yeah. So for 4, you do manage to sink a dagger into one of them. That dagger is sort of stuck in their side. They weren't really focused on the whole situation happening with fairy fire and with things being thrown at them. They weren't expecting you because you're sort of off to the side, and you do get a shot in to sink it into one of them. But they now, like it's not an insignificant hit, but it's not the biggest hit in the world to them. We go to the top of the order now as the surprise round finishes. Euterpe.
So do I think that any short bow shots are just going to burn up, or do I think I just need to sink it in a little bit harder?
You just think you need to sink it in a little bit harder.
Okay, and I have advantage now because of the fairy fire?
Yes.
Cool.
I should have had you roll with advantage. It's
I'm
okay, you hit
gonna
anyway.
do that, I guess. Which is good that I have advantage. I guess not. That's a 9.
Yeah, again, this time you actually just go wide as they sort of swing towards you to square off. They're ready to fight now. Theo, it's your turn.
I am going to try this again. Let's see if it works better this time. Yes to hit, 23, and they can have con saves.
Okay, so one of them rolls an 11 again,
Fails.
and the other one rolls a 19.
Passes. So for the one that failed, or I've got 1 cold damage and 4 piercing damage.
So 5 total. So
My d20s are stealing all the luck from the d6s.
Because that's how that works.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
100% how it works.
okay, so one of them looks pretty bad off now. But the other one's still ready to go as it seems to have squared off better, having not taken a dagger. It's Vantis, your go.
Alright, I'm gonna smack the one that's looking a little beat up with a quarterstaff.
Alright, so you have to run up to do that.
Yep.
Okay. You are now within melee.
Mm-hmm. So, good thing I have advantage. 13.
13, you hit, but at a point where it actually brings around its shield to block you.
Okay.
So you don't do any damage. Dust, it's your to go.
Okay, I'm gonna run up, attempt to grab my dagger, and can I go in with another stab?
Roll me a dexterity check to see if you manage to grab your dagger.
16.
Yeah, you manage to sort of pluck your dagger out as he's turned to the side, so you grab it out when he's blocking the blow with the shield, and you do manage to pull it out. You can make a melee attack with it. Melee attacks with it will be using your strength modifier for damage as opposed to your dexterity. If you throw it, it's dex. If you stab with it, it's strength.
Cool. Well,
And your attack has advantage, by the way. Your attack also would have had advantage. Did you do that for yourself?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
Just didn't get me anywhere.
great. Well, I'm already there, so I'm gonna go and try and go in for a quick stab.
Okay, so roll with advantage, which means roll twice and take the higher number. Great.
15.
Plus dexterity to hit, but strength for damage.
Okay, so 18 to hit.
That hits, so roll your damage, which will just be a straight die roll, I believe.
Yeah. 1.
So yeah, you manage to pluck it out and stab him again, but this time, you know, he's more aware of you now. He's turning. You sort of gash him in the side, but you don't do that much damage. It's now their turns. So first off, well, there's 2 of you up there. So I think what we're going to do is one of them is going to make 1 scimitar attack on each of you. So the first one on Dust, this is the more damage one doing it. Yeah, that's a mod 20 to hit.
Yeah.
So you're going to take 5 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Then on you,
Alright.
which is a 12 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
All right, so you managed to, like, you're getting used to his movement, so you know, like, you can manage to pull out of the way a little bit. The other one is going to step about 5 feet forward, so still in melee with, 10 feet away anyway. So, like, was a little away from any of you, and is actually going to spit fire at you as it sort of calls up this sort of line of fire. Roll a dex saving throw.
15.
Yeah, so you managed to jump out of the way. It is like it's not like a cone of flame or anything. It's literally like a jet.
Okay.
Like it's almost liquid in a way, like a flaming liquid that it's spewing at you.
Whoa,
but you
cool.
do still take some damage, which is going to be 4 points of fire damage.
I changed my mind. Hot.
And finally, it's Aaron's turn.
Okay. Is the one that had the fairy fire still?
They're both
okay.
fire.
Both fairy fired. And one of them is looking pretty damaged, and the other one is not damaged.
One of them's looking pretty damaged. The other one's looking a little bad, but not super bad.
All right.
The one that just spit fire is like pretty okay at the moment.
All right. Seems like they've got one of them handled, so I'm gonna go attack the one that doesn't have anyone on it.
Okay. All attacks have advantage.
It didn't really matter that much. They're both really good, but and I'm not at a level where I crit on a 19 yet. So that's a 25 to hit.
That hits. Roll your damage.
With my greatsword.
Mm-hmm.
10 damage.
Plus.
4, so 14 damage.
14 damage. You run up and with one mighty swing, aided by the sort of light that outlines, you can sort of see where this creature, otherwise it would blend in a little bit with sort of this fiery background around it. You manage to swing and sort of cleave a good chunk of the middle of this creature out as it's still hanging in there. It's got sort of an arm now pressed against its stomach, and it gives sort of a weak call in. Who do you speak? You speak Primordial?
I do.
Okay. This is a odd dialect of Ignan. So technically, you might you have the chance to understand it, but you don't fully. It would take some effort. It would take an intelligence check to understand what's being said. These things are definitely speaking Ignan to one another as this one calls out and sort of coughs, and the other one sort of turns its head and looks legitimately concerned and afraid.
Can I make that intelligence check?
Yeah, sure.
That's 14.
Nope.
Nope.
You
Not even a
you
gist.
catch you. I mean, you get from looking at them that it's like a call of concern and like sort of help. You maybe get that it's like a call to some. It's a similar feeling to like, sort of like God's help me or something
Okay,
like that.
But they're not calling for backup.
But they're not calling for backup. They're just. It's an exclamation of pain, and they're entreating something, but you don't know what. So next up, we go back to top of the order with you, Terapy.
I mean, I don't have anything to do but try to shoot this thing.
Okay, roll attack.
Oh, that's so much better. That's a 22.
That hits. Roll your damage. Which
Great.
one are you shooting, by the way?
The one that's more damaged.
Okay, that's the one that just took a great sword to the stomach.
Yeah, I want to. It helps to have fewer people up attacking things.
Yeah, I just want you to know which
Yeah.
one you were aiming at.
That's gonna be. So my dex is 5 points of damage.
Okay, so as you shoot off this arrow, this creature has just sort of thrown its head back a little bit to clutch its stomach and, like make this exclamation of something, help me or something like that. You shoot an arrow straight through its throat. It's
Oh,
dead
I feel a little bad for it.
as it falls to the ground,
I don't.
caught up in this exclamation.
We did attack first.
Did we? Like, it was clearly about to attack a bunch of people.
Was it? Were there a lot of people?
They appeared to be unaware that the people were there. They were hunting through debris. You presume they're carrying scimitars and shields. They're not necessarily innocent. They are, however, sapient. Like, these are creatures, as you can see, they are clearly intelligent. They clearly have intelligent thought. They're maybe not the smartest people in the world, but they look almost like soldiers.
Yeah.
So
I feel bad for them out of character. In character, not so much.
next up in the order is Theo. There's one still up. It's pretty damaged.
You stop hurting people, we'll stop hurting you.
It does not appear to understand what you're saying, as it doesn't appear to speak common.
I hold up my hands.
This, Vantas, it's your go. This 16-year-old child behind you is just, like, given up, like, held up hands. Oh, sorry, you're 17 now, aren't you?
I'm 17. Yeah, you remember that year. It's important to me. In character.
Protect the kid.
This is pretty obviously an invading and attacking army.
It is.
So I shoot a sympathetic look over towards the kid, but I'm gonna try to hit with my staff again anyways.
Okay, roll your attack with advantage.
That is a 21 to hit.
That hits, roll your damage.
That was 3 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, so you whack the knife wound that it took, and it does take some damage. It's still up. It might not be for much longer, depending on what you guys do next. Dust, it's your go.
Jeez. I am gonna go in for a dagger throw.
Okay, so you're gonna throw it at the. You're gonna step back then.
Yeah.
Okay. If you step back, what's your? Do you have a tabaxi thing that lets you disengage? I don't think so,
I
right?
don't think so.
Okay. So if you step back.
Oh wait, hold on. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was reading.
Okay. As you step back, if you step out of 5 feet of range, if you stay within 5 feet, you would have disadvantage on the throw, which would cancel out with advantage, so it would just be a straight roll. Because you're within 5 feet of it, so it'd be a little hard to throw.
Yeah.
But if you step out of 5 feet of range of it, you move out of melee, and it gets an attack of opportunity on you.
I am gonna step back only a few feet and roll without advantage.
Okay, so just do a straight roll.
Well, that was fun. I rolled a 2, but
Okay.
that's not
No. So as you step back and you try to angle a throw, you actually sort of telegraph your move too much, and it just easily brings up a shield to knock your dagger out of the air. So that's your go. Next up is its turn. It It's in pretty bad shape with the two of you both there, so it's gonna do the same thing again and do 2 hits, 1 on each of you. So first at you, like before, which is gonna be a 9 to hit, so that misses, and then on you, which is gonna be a 6 to hit, so that misses. It's pretty bad off. Its friend is dead on the ground next to it, and it is pretty freaked out at the moment. Although it probably should have expected this. Aaron, it's your turn. It's still
Alright.
up.
Alright, I'm gonna run up to it and try to hit it with my greatsword.
Okay, roll with advantage.
Much better. That's 23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. Roll your damage in case you roll under.
That's 8 damage.
Okay. So you run up and this one. Again,
Actually, I can re-roll 2s.
you're fine.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure your strength modifier is +4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your minimum damage kills this. So you run up and you, knowing where to aim with this thing having just sort of exposed itself with a sloppy hit towards this tiefling over here, you manage. It's got a pretty good exposed flank, and you just slice down, and it falls, and they are dead before you, and you are out of combat. And these people behind you, some of them call out thanks as they sort of run. They sort of stand up and begin to look like they're looking for another place to hide, but a lot of them are just scared. And this appears to be like a group of older humans. They look like they're all pushing 60 or 70, which is quite old. They were sort of cowering in fear. There's only about 5 of them.
I just say, you should either come help or you should find actual shelter.
Well, where is actual shelter?
I give them directions to the tavern that we were at.
they run back there. They're like, we're no good in a fight. I guess for like cannon fodder.
No, don't do
We don't need
that.
that. Just go back to safety.
I mean, no,
Okay,
I don't.
yeah, definitely. That sounds great. Bye. And they sort of, they don't book it. They're a little too old to book it, but they're sort of running as fast as they can.
No, it's very rude of these things to be made out of fire. That's like, hurting with fire is my thing. And I feel like they're stealing it.
You can talk to them about stylistic differences after we chase them out of this town.
I don't think they can understand us based on Theo's attempt.
Yeah, they don't.
Let
Again,
me
just,
see what they
that's
were
a pity.
trying to find.
Sure, roll investigation.
No, I cannot. Somebody else might.
It's just rubble. It's just rubble. It's all rubble. Maybe they just wanted some nice rubble.
You're
They
looking.
should homes are made out
You're
of
looking
rubble.
through the rubble. I'm going to look through the rubble too.
Oh,
You seem
yeah,
like
that's
somebody who
fine.
knows what they're
They
doing.
probably live in rubble.
22.
With a 22, you spot sort of. You dig through, and what you don't find is you don't find anything valuable, but what you do find is shards of colored glass. This appears to be one of the main impact points of, say, some kind of stained glass, possibly from the palace. It's sort of at that angle. It could have that. They might be looking for something that got blown out of the palace.
Okay. This looks like it's stained glass. It's an awful long way to travel. And I think they might have been looking for something.
You know, I can understand attacking a palace, but destroying the artwork?
Well, let's keep heading closer to the palace.
Did they have anything on them? Can we search the bodies real quick?
Yes. Well, you can. Here's the thing about searching the bodies. They're literally like not wearing even clothing or anything.
Okay.
They're just wearing like a belt where they can put a sword and a thing. They, and the belt. Here's what I'll do. The belt itself seems to be made out of something very fire resistant. It looks like wherever they live, everything they own has to be fire resistant.
I grab a belt and the scimitar, because why not?
Alright.
I'm gonna grab my dagger that's probably on the floor somewhere,
Yeah.
and
If there's another
Yeah.
belt up for grabs, I'll take it. I don't need the scimitar, but
I'll take the scimitar.
cool.
Alright.
I'll take the
You
belt.
loot their very empty bodies.
Obviously.
I pick up a shield and hand it to the nearest civilian.
Oh, they're gone.
Okay. I carry it with me.
Okay. You're not proficient with shields.
No, I'm not. I plan to hand it to the nearest civilian. I have no idea what to do with this. I'm like holding it around the edges, and I'm just like, this is very heavy. I hope we find somebody soon.
Can I just like hold it for him? 'Cause,
Yeah.
I can probably get it with like, like hold it like one hand or whatever. Like it's, I'm proficient in shields. I can wear it like a shield until
you can
we
carry
find
it like a
someone.
shield. You just can't wield your greatsword while you
Yeah,
carry
no,
it.
I'm not gonna use it. I'm just I'll carry it until we find someone to give it to, because I can actually like wield it instead of carrying it and
Straining yourself.
Yeah, so as you go to sort of you sort of angle along with this thing, getting used to sort of like
Yeah, I'm,
it's
like,
really
bumping my
awkward.
elbows.
It's sort of like you don't really know what you do. It gets plucked out of your hands as this like ripped trait is like.
Thanks. I have a feeling this is going to be a trend.
So are you guys continuing to just simply walk along this path? Or are you trying to figure out where there might be? What are you doing next?
I mean, we're trying to make our way to the palace eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever
I'm
the most
glad.
efficient way is, because the nobles who are there could be like being slaughtered as we speak.
I'm also keeping an eye out for more stained glass, ideally around piles of rubble.
Okay. So what I'm gonna have you roll a perception check.
Sure.
And who's leading the way towards the palace?
I will.
Okay. So I'm gonna have you also, well, if you're looking for the most efficient route, I'm gonna have you roll an intelligence check.
Oof. Okay. That's a 3.
Good. What was your perception?
8.
Wonderful. So you're walking along. At various points, you sort of stop and go, "Wait, stained glass!" And you read through. It's pretty slow going for all of you. As
Do
you
we see any civilians as we're going?
This appears to be a portion that's been cleared out more than others, or basically, by the time you finish defeating these whatever they were, because you didn't figure that out.
Yeah, I know, I kept forgetting.
And then sort of walking along, and with this periodic stopping to dig through rubble to figure things out, by the time you sort of get to where the main population center is, it's pretty deserted. You know, like you do see the remnants of like stalls crushed under things. You see a few crepe stands just gone.
Yeah, if at any point we see someone who appears to know anything other than let's flee in fear, I do want to pull them aside.
Okay. So you continue along, and given those 2 checks that you did, you do not notice until you stand right in the middle of it that you are in a large, not a large, it's sort of a side, this portion of the city is full of small, winding, picturesque streets with sort of 2 or 3 story buildings on either side. Laundry was previously strung up between them, usually flags had been strung up between them, but they are burnt and gone and destroyed, and there is rubble that you must pick your way through, and these clearings come to, these sort of alleys almost, come to small squares periodically where you can feel this breath of, this rush of air. It's usually a relief in sort of this a little bit muggy spring weather. You step into a square, and you are so concerned about avoiding some burning rubble that you do not notice more of these creatures that you just fought standing there digging through rubble, but they hear you coming, and they turn, and you see 2 similar creatures to the ones that you just fought, wearing again these fire-resistant belts, carrying scimitars and shields, and one different one wearing some kind of leather cloak and carrying some kind of stone staff with an orb at the top of it. Roll initiative. They get a surprise round on you.
Good.
Good.
Initiative.
Oh,
jeez.
fuck. Oh, it's okay though, because, like.
Better, but not good.
Oh, they did not roll well. 25 to 20. 20 to 15.
19.
15 to 10.
Doing really well.
10 to 5.
6.
7. 7.
That is some great rebel, guys. Look at that rebel.
I'm not last this time.
No, you're really not.
Got a 6 party over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so they are going to move first. You guys are about 30 feet away from them. So they are going to move up about 20. The two ones with scimitars are going to move up about 20 feet. And given the way that things look, they're each going to aim fire spitting at one of you. So Vantis and Aaron, the two big bulky ones, roll me dex saving throws.
Okay.
Oh, not
9.
good. 2.
Oh, good. You both take full damage.
So fun.
Oh. You both take, what was that? Yeah, no, it's, okay, yeah. So you both take, 6 points of fire damage.
Oh, good. I'm at 2. Because no one healed. I didn't get to heal from
Yeah,
the damage I took earlier.
I can help out if it gets around to my turn.
But that's all they're going to do. And then the caster is going to step up and cast insult to injury. The caster is going to fire off a firebolt.
Great.
Given how you guys look, and I'm gonna roll a d10 to determine which one of you, because I think you're all about equal targets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2.
Okay.
So
I may be going unconscious.
that is a 13 to hit.
That hits.
All right.
Yeah, my AC is shit.
Firebolt's 1d10, correct?
Yes.
That's 1 point of fire.
Okay.
As this individual, there's some pretty serious rubble at the center of this clearing, and this individual with this staff is sort of using the staff to pick through it. Doesn't really seem that concerned about you guys. Turns sort of haphazardly fires off a firebolt at you. Doesn't really care that it glances instead of actually properly hitting.
Ah, my elbow!
We now go into initiative. So Theo,
What are these things?
roll a
Oh, sorry.
Arcana check.
Not very good. 12.
They're fiery.
Yeah, there's
they're
lots of
kinda,
fire.
They're kind of like lizards. They're like fiery lizards.
Okay. Do I vocalize this? I don't think so. I'm trying to impress people here. Are any of them close to each other?
The two warriors who just stepped forward and spit fire are within 10 feet of each other.
Yay. 12 to hit the square between them.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Con saves.
Yep. Oh, that one fails. They both fail. They rolled a 3 and a 5.
4 cold, 3 piercing.
Okay, so that's 7 points of damage right off the start.
And
Yeah, they're not pleased with that. They are suddenly taking this a lot more seriously.
Darn. Alright, guys, all I've got is some kind of fire and lizard sort of things.
I haven't described this yet, by the way. This kid is taking these flasks from his hip and chucking them between two people. This one in particular, that he's used quite often now, explodes in a mass of ice and shards of glass, which causes both sort of this freezing cold air around them, and glass is not good for you. Generally, glass, not good for you.
The crucial question was, how cool does it look?
Oh, pretty. Well, here's the thing.
It's cold.
Here's the thing. The explosion itself, pretty cool. The way the kid turns and sort of covers himself in case it goes wrong, less cool.
Okay, we'll work on that.
So is that all you're doing?
Yeah,
Theo?
that's it.
Okay, it's now the warriors' turns. So they're going to step up, and they don't have their Spitfire back. So they are going to seeing that you guys are pretty bad off, they're actually going to try and do some quick damage to, I think, the guy who just chucked stuff at them.
Reasonable.
So one of them is going to step up and do 2 hits on Theo, and then I think the other one is going to Dust or Euterpe, which one do you think, which one would be closer to the front of the group?
Oh, I was hanging back.
I was kind of hanging back, but I am probably in front of you.
Okay, so then it's going to be 2 on you, and 1 on you, and 1 on you.
Okay.
As they sort of get to the center of you. They're taking this a little more seriously, but they also seem to be thinking, oh, ranged. Let's get up close.
Yeah.
So the first one to hit on you is a 22.
Yeah, that hits.
And the second one is a 7, which misses. So that's going to be 7 points of slashing damage.
Theo drops.
And then 1 on you first is going to be a 16 to hit,
Yep.
which is going to be 2 points of slashing damage.
Amazing.
And then 1 on you is going to be a mod 20 to hit,
I don't know.
which is 3 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And that's there goes. They sort of step in and War of Blades. They attempt to just slice and dice and get rid of as many opponents as possible. Get as many opponents down. The one that did 2 attacks on the guy who chucked something bad at them. Pretty pleased with himself. He's turned to the rest of the group and he's sort of he twirls his sword a bit. Aaron, it's your go.
So I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I am going to drop the shield
Mhm.
and pull out my greatsword.
Sure.
And, well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to heal a little bit. I'm going to use my second wind as a bonus action
Yeah.
to regain 1d10 plus 1 hit points. So that's, right, so 9 hit points. So I'm back up at 11. Okay, and now I'm going to make a greatsword attack.
All right.
That one.
You swing, but you're going for the one that twirled his sword. But what you don't, you swing, but with the dropping of the shield and the pulling out of your weapon, you attempt to do it in one sort of draw and slash. And the thing about that is that he catches it with his shield and knocks it away. So you do still have it; it is still in your hand. But it is definitely, you didn't use your strength correctly, and it was easy for him to just hit you at the right angle.
Yeah. Not happy with myself.
Next up is the combo turn of Vantis, Euterpe, and Dust. Who wants to move first?
Well, I can patch up somebody.
Okay, yeah, I can basically, so how are you looking health-wise?
A little shabby. I'm down to 4.
Yeah, so I can give you like 4 temporary hit points that will regenerate at the start of each of your turns. So if you go after me, I can do that for this turn.
Yeah, that would be magnificent.
Great! I pull out the fiddle and I play a really inspiring heroic song and cast heroism on Vantis. So she will get 4 temporary hit points at the start of each of her turns. And who needs you clearly need inspiration,
Yeah.
Aaron. I also it's a heroic and inspiring song, so I'll throw some inspiration your way.
If this were a technology that has not been invented yet in your world, if this were something where you could, if this were a play where there was an orchestra, at the bottom, this would be the moment where the orchestra music begins to swell and the heroes step forward for the first time properly, and that's the music that you're playing as you set the scene.
Alright.
Dust.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just do some quick patching up here.
Mm-hmm.
I lay down a cure wounds.
Thanks.
I have a little bit of health.
So roll 1d8 and add your wisdom modifier.
Mine was yeah, okay. So wrong thing.
I would
that
love
be
you
nice.
to roll a d20.
You get 7 hit points back.
Thanks. That was awesome.
Dust.
I scurry up to the tallest point that I can reach, and whip out my crossbow.
Okay, yeah, and I think I'm gonna say, well, no, I'm gonna have, if you screw away, it gets an attack of opportunity on you.
Okay.
Oh, that's not. It's a 5. It misses. You get
Amazing.
away. You climb up. You climb a pile of debris and you sort of perch on top of it and aim your crossbow down.
Not 20.
Oh yeah. Roll your damage and double whatever you roll.
Oh, nice. 10.
Plus your dexterity
Plus
modifiers.
13.
Okay, so in one hit, from up here, you can actually see an angle down, and you aim for what you're pretty sure is a soft spot. And you don't get it quite right because you're not really familiar with these creatures' anatomy. You've never seen them before, but you get it pretty right. And a crossbow bolt sinks into this creature's skull. He's not looking. He's looking one more hit, definitely, of like almost any strength. Just would take him down. Next up, the caster turns his head and sort of looks and, okay, sure, okay.
Can you say that out loud in common?
No, he's muttering something to himself in, again, Ignan. And at this point, this could be very bad, is going to cast a group damage spell.
Oh, good.
So all of you and the 2 warriors have to make a dexterity saving throw, except for Dust, who got out of the way.
I mean, my mom.
Again? I rolled like 3 20s earlier, and now I keep rolling 1s.
Karma.
I just don't understand this die. Okay,
what's my modifier?
Hot and cold.
So,
11.
11.
12.
Fails all
you didn't
around.
make it a
1.
1. Wonderful. This is going to go great for all of you. I do, by the
If
way.
we TPK.
No, if you TPK, the campaign continues because I have an exact plan for what happens there. It takes a very different turn. You get somewhere very quickly that you would have not gotten. You've gone very slowly otherwise. But I did. All right. Yeah. Wow. 3d6, 2 1s, and a 2.
Oh, nice.
So that's. Oh wait, but it's cast at a higher level. Yeah. So that's. There we go.
Yeah, you're clearly trying to kill us.
So,
We're supposed to die.
all of you who failed,
What was the DC? higher
the
than?
DC. Oh yeah, it was. I think all of you failed because it was
Okay.
a 12.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got a 12.
There you go. You take half damage. I thought one of you made it. The rest of you take 6 points of fire damage from 46.
Remember,
That's pretty awesome.
Vantas has a temporary. I take 3.
Yes, you take 3, and the other things both take 1 through various.
And I passed my concentration check, so
Okay.
you're good.
So the one that got that has the crossbow bolt in his head, that actually catches fire a little bit and burns. By the way, anything around you guys that is not being worn or carried is now on fire. So nothing you own, but that shield is not on fire because it's flame retardant. But the wooden debris around you is on fire as this caster then sort of curses at the fact that all of you. It's not their strongest spell, and they turn back and begin really quickly sort of trying to dig through the rubble again. So next up after that we go to top of the order, Theo.
I don't feel good. Who's the one that's got the crossbow bolt in his head? Is he very close to me, or?
He's a little further from you, but you could be within melee of him if you wanted, basically.
Okay, and is there somebody within 5 feet of me? An enemy?
I would say. Did you aim for the one who downed Theo, or did you aim for the one that hit you?
I think I aimed for the one that hit me.
Okay, so then there is someone within 5 feet of you who's not the one that's nearly gone.
Okay. So if I shoot not at that one, I take an attack of opportunity?
No, if you shoot at the one that's further away from you, because there's someone within 5 feet of you, you get disadvantage on the roll.
Okay.
But it's not the Pathfinder thing where you take attacks of opportunity for making attacks.
Got it. Okay. I'm gonna pull out a short sword.
Okay.
I'm gonna inspire myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna try to hit it.
Okay. Roll an attack.
I think I might use that inspiration. Yeah, I've got a 15 to hit.
You swing and a shield comes up to block your sort of weakened, scared swing.
Yeah, I'm not really a sword person.
We can work on that.
Next up in the order is the 2 warriors who are still alive. And the one
I cower.
The one next to you is going to make 1 attack on Theo and 1 attack on Vantas. So the one on Theo is a 12 to hit. Okay, so that one, you do manage to pull out of the way of that one. And then, I'm very sorry.
High unconsciousness.
You'll gain
still
temporary
gain
hit
you
points
get
at the
hit
start of
points
your
still.
turn.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's an amazing spell.
Heroism.
Yeah.
So that's okay. That's 5 points of damage.
I'm unconscious.
Does that count the 4 temporary hit points that you got?
Yes, that does.
Okay.
But at the start of your turn, you'll return
Yeah.
to consciousness.
Okay, cool. Do I?
I think so.
Yeah, you'll get the temporary hit points unless I lose concentration before then, which seems possible.
So that's that, and then the other one is going to swing 2 attacks at one of each of you. So one at you, Terapy, which is a 19 to hit, and is 3 points of damage.
I'm also unconscious, which means my spell drops.
And there go the healers.
Well, you do still have someone with
cleric?
all her spell slots.
Who is a
That's
cleric?
true.
Wait, you're a cleric?
Clerics don't heal. Clerics kill people.
Clerics are really rogues.
This cleric is.
Definitely thought you were a rogue.
And the other one is a 14 to hit you.
That does not hit me.
Yeah, you bring up, you knock it aside with your arm, like you get sort of a twist and it sort of pulls out of the way. It's now Aaron's turn.
Yeah, it's my turn. I'm gonna try attacking the one that just tried to attack me.
Okay.
Or is
Do you want to attack the one that's nearly dead, or do you want to attack the one that's still kicking?
I'll try to get the one that's nearly dead just out of the way. What the fuck?
You have inspiration,
Oh, okay. So that's
so you can add a d6 if you want.
plus 12.
No, you miss. That misses.
This is not going
Dust.
well.
I'm gonna let you go first on this one. Who are you bringing back to consciousness in time for their turn?
Right.
So the thing is, you do have to get off of-
Down.
yeah.
Yeah. Alright, guys.
Unless, do you have healing
Myth?
word? I don't think you have access to healing word, do you? Yeah.
So I scurried. No.
Clerics get healing
This-
Not automatically, and I don't think you prepped it. Did you? Would you have prepped it today?
I did not.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so I'll scurry down and I'm going to heal you terribly because then.
I'm out of spell slots, so
Oh.
that doesn't actually do any good.
I am too, so
Well,
one of us is making a
then
death
I'm not
saving
sure
throw.
this is. It totally matters who I
Well,
heal.
one of them it does.
It's gonna be a little more helpful.
One of them has useful cantrips. One of them took only a fire spell and has made a terrible mistake.
Great.
But not
So never
powers.
mind. I am going to heal you.
Okay, roll 1d8 and add your wisdom modifier. That's a d10.
I mean, I'll take it.
That's a d8. Great, you got it.
I guessed right the second time. Well, 5.
You come back to consciousness with 5 points. As you find this cat sort of half crouching over you, half still watching the other people who are still alive.
Thanks.
What's your domain?
You can talk about that after the battle.
Well, I was just thinking there would be more hit points in this if they're life domain.
No,
But
not at all.
Okay.
I
Got
will
it.
remind her of that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna go for a hit at the one that's almost down.
Okay.
Somebody kill her.
You know what? I'm gonna go for yeah, they have to make a con saving throw. It's frostbite.
Failed.
Yay.
Alright, let's see. That is 4 cold damage.
Oh yeah, you just like you shoot it off and it doesn't. It's not even the cold damage. Just like the force of it hits the creature, it falls back, and its sort of head sort of splatters open a little bit at the back as it crashes against a rock. It's very, very dead.
Good. And also, I'm gonna try to spread out a little bit from the others and just
Okay.
in case we're gonna get another spell
Yeah.
crashing in.
Euterpe, make a death saving throw.
Yay.
Okay, it was a success. It's a 13.
Okay. It's the caster's turn. The caster is going to attempt to firebolt the one who healed people. But misses with a 12,
Great.
I think. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, misses
That
with a 12.
misses.
So that you duck out of the way because you're watching that. You got your eyes. You're prepped. I think at this point, at the end of the order, someone appears from behind the pile of rubble and is going to make an attack on that caster.
Oh, good.
Should.
Oh, that definitely hits. So that's going to be... It's a D8, which I don't have out. Okay, yeah. So that caster very suddenly takes a decent chunk of damage from some... You now all see behind, sort of standing back, it's sort of a darker skinned human wearing some kind of uniform and carrying a short sword.
Cool.
But like a special weird short sword. So go back to stop the order with Theo.
Is it, again, just disadvantage if I throw something at somebody within 5 feet of me?
If you're throwing it, the thing about throwing it at someone within 5 feet of you, like if you're throwing it,
Oh, no, I mean, like, I would throw it behind him so that its 5-foot radius hits him and not me.
then it would be disadvantaged.
Okay. I'll do that. I'm gonna pull out an acid flask and look very unhappy about it. 15. Hits just to hit the square.
Yeah, that hits the square.
Dex save.
Nat 20.
That passes. 3 damage.
Okay. This guy, not looking great, still fighting, still ready to cut some people up, and again, it's that one's turn. So that one's going to actually let me roll a wisdom check. Okay, yeah. That one's gonna turn, see the fight going on over there, and is gonna judge that stepping out of this situation would be taking a lot of attacks of opportunity would be very bad, and he's gonna swing 2 attacks at you.
Okay.
First one is a 6 to hit, and the second one is a natural 1. As this time you are the one who goes to swing and leaves open, and you're just very frustrated, so you just sort of kick a little bit, and it sort of this creature sort of falls to one knee, and it's now your turn.
Can I have advantage?
Yes.
Thank you. Awesome. It's a 21 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Okay. Very frustrated. It's 14 damage.
You, as this creature is sort of kneeling before you, having been kicked in the legs, or clutching one of its sort of weaker ankles, do you want to slash its throat, or do you want to behead it?
Behead it.
Yeah, you behead this creature before you, and it goes swinging. You do hear sort of a noise, some kind of another exclamation of horror coming out of the caster.
2 of them, in fact.
And next up we have the joint turn of Vantis, Euterpe, and Dust. Dust, do you want to heal Euterpe?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, roll 1d8 again. 3 plus your wisdom.
6.
You come back to consciousness with 6 hit points,
Oh, cool.
and your death saving throws reset. Vantis, what are you doing?
I'm gonna cast Frostbite on the caster's the last one standing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so con saving throw.
Okay. Definitely fails that.
Awesome. Then the next melee weapon attack against it has advantage,
Mhm.
and it takes 3 points of cold damage.
Alright. It's not looking super happy about this suddenly surrounded situation. Euterpe, what are you doing?
So I stand up. I'm still holding my fiddle. I left off in the middle of the chord progression, which just won't do. So I have to finish my inspiring ballad, and Theo goes after me. So have a d6 of inspiration, Theo.
I like this rising music. I feel heroic.
And then I can't actually do anything else with this, so I put away the fiddle, and I'm going to try to shoot a short bow
Okay,
at...
roll an attack.
12.
That hits.
Oh, nice.
This
Casters.
is a caster.
Oh, and that's not bad. That's going to be 8 points of piercing damage.
Yeah, that's a significant hit as you really don't want to die.
And he's stealing my style, which just offends me on a personal
Or,
level.
alternatively, you're stealing the fire creature style. I mean, it has a little more claim to fire culturally than you, maybe. Just pointing.
God, cultural appropriation.
I learned Firebolt at a fine elvish institution. I don't know what you're talking about.
Because elves never appropriate any cultures.
underestimating the values of cultural mixing here. It's keeping us alive.
It is now that creature's turn, so that one's gonna take is gonna cast again. This time, conjuring up focusing on the human individual in front of him. He's going to conjure up a flaming sphere. I can't think of another word for that. Just a sphere of flame. The human's going to make a dex saving throw, which definitely fails. And that human engulfed in flame is going to drop unconscious. Very few hit points. Then this creature is going to move the sphere, because can do that, is going to move the sphere towards... Who's standing at the front of your group, do you think?
Well, some of us have split off, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
that's
probably
what
you at this point. You
Yeah,
just
okay.
beheaded. So
Yeah,
roll a
that's
dex saving throw.
I'm not good at those. Oh, that's pretty good. That's a net 18, so 18.
Oh yeah, so you're going to take half damage. You take 5 points of flame damage
I'm unconscious.
as you drop unconscious.
Are we all out of healing?
You can make medicine checks. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So you can
Vaguely.
attempt to stabilize, and if you roll well enough, I may have them jump back up to 1 hit point, because you are... The sort of what clerics do is sort of healing, like not you particularly, and also most people in this world go to bards or druids for their healing, actually, because there's very few clerics. So you do that. It is the human's turns. The human's going to fails a death saving throw. This human's in bad condition as flame happens. Theo, it's your turn.
Is he surrounded? Can I get a radius on him and not hit anybody else? Can I get a bomb on him?
On the caster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then that's what I will do. I hit the square with a 10.
Awesome.
He can have a dex save. Please fail your dex save.
Yeah, that's a 6.
Yay! 5 damage.
Okay, yeah, not looking good. Looking pretty worried about this situation in general. It would be the dead creature's turns, but they're dead. Aaron, it's your go. Make a death saving throw.
That's a success.
Okay. Vantus, Euterpe, and Dust, you move simultaneously.
Alright, I'm gonna... Actually, I can go to make a medicine check.
I can give if I go first, I can give inspiration to whoever wants to do the medicine check.
Okay, then you go first.
Great. So I don't have my fiddle out now, so I just say something inspiring about healing, and so
You're not going to give us anything specific there. You're just going to say something inspiring.
What's your medicine mod?
5.
Okay, I'm 3.
So you should do the medicine check.
Sure.
So I'll give you a D6 inspiration
Great.
By saying...
by saying your healing skills worked very well before. Do it again.
Roll a d20.
We believe in you.
I can also attack, right?
Well, that was fun.
And you can roll a d8, a d6 to add to that.
I'm gonna die.
It's fun.
You attempt to figure this out, but here's the thing, right? Trains are like kind of mammals. You know, like your physiology is very different. And so you're suddenly learning, like you come from a jungle. You don't, what? Gills? Oh god.
Do I still get an attack as my main action since I
Yeah.
only use a bonus action?
You all
Great.
move simultaneously.
Cool. I shoot an arrow.
Yeah,
And I probably hit. That's a 21.
definitely hit.
That's only going to be 4 points of damage.
Still, like significant. Like this caster's looking pretty scared. Mantis, what are you doing?
How are you doing on death saves?
I succeeded one, and I have 2 more to go.
Okay.
Or I mean, hopefully 2 more successes unless I fail 3.
Okay, no fails.
No
Yeah.
fails, yeah.
Okay, in that case, I'm gonna go lay on the cold with our caster again. Actually, you know what? This time, yeah, I'll lay on the cold again. So
Okay.
con save.
That's a 16.
That makes it.
Alright.
Nothing happens.
This person's determined to live. It is, in fact, their turn. And they, with the human next to them, next to him, dying, what's...
We need those older people for cannon fodder.
It's a change of heart.
This would be going much better for us if they were being meat shields. It's true.
The caster is going to swing the sphere around to try and hit you, I think. Make a dex saving throw.
Oh, that's a 7. Great. 10.
Okay. The save DC is a 12. You guys keep missing it. So you
I
take
succeeded, it just didn't matter.
you take 4 points of fire damage.
Yeah, I'm out.
Awesome. First level's great,
Guys, I
guys.
could have just stayed on top of the rubble.
First level's great, guys.
I'm not sure I want to be an adventurer.
First level's fantastic. It's that guy's turn. Oh, and then the warlock is gonna try and book it 30 feet away from you because while you may be dropping like flies, there's still more of you, and he's not doing well. So he's gonna try and run away, and then the human's gonna fail 2 death saving throws.
Oh god, that was the guy
That-
who helped us out?
Yeah,
Yeah, and he just died.
and
Oh,
he
he
is
failed.
now.
Did he fail 2 or 3?
He just failed. He just rolled in that one.
Oh.
Oh.
So he appears to be a burned corpse at the moment.
Damn.
Well,
Well,
I feel bad, but my medicine modifier is -2, so I probably couldn't have helped him anyways.
And Theo, it's your turn.
I drop my short sword and pull out a short bow.
Mm-hmm.
20 to hit.
That hits.
9 damage.
As this warlock turns tail to run, you shoot them through the back, aiming for the heart, as they've just killed this human individual, and he falls. And after he does, there's a moment that you all, sort of those of you who are conscious, take, before another figure runs out from another side alley. This is another individual in this sort of guard uniform, carrying at their side just a regular short sword. Doesn't look as important as the other one, but runs out and sort of looks around and sees everything. Sees how many of you are still up? 3. The 3 of you standing, the 2 of you down. This individual is immediately running towards you and actually brandishing health potions of common healing, and is immediately going to pour one down the throat of. You're closer, I think, so, and passing the other one off into a hand, not even saying anything, just attempting to save lives.
yeah, I uncork the other one and pour it down your throat.
So those of you who are administering the health potions, roll the dice. So
Which is 2d4 plus...
2d4 plus 2.
Okay.
Bad roll. Okay roll. So you regain 6 hit points. You regain 6 hit points.
Yeah.
And you get 7 hit points.
Can we take a short rest?
Yes, please.
Oh, a book fell. It's fine. And as you sort of come to consciousness before you take a short rest, this human in front of you is sort of a not as dark skinned, lighter skinned, with black, short cropped black hair and dark eyes, sort of turns to you and says, looks over the beheaded creature, the other one with the splattered brain and the fleeing one killed, and says, "Oh, well, did you?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the potions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the help. We could use more of it. People are gathering at a guard station this way.
Have any of the nobles survived the blast?
We don't know what happened. All we know is there's been fire creatures all over this portion of the city. The captain will know more. I don't. I'm just look. I'm not real. They just sent me out to like try and save.
Hey,
Thank you.
Um,
You're doing a good job.
could I have another potion to... I'm out of healing spells and I can help out whoever we run into.
Yeah, I mean, there's been. The good thing about a thing like this is a lot of adventurers show up, so you get some extra help as well. We have a bunch of guards we stocked up on just in case there were accidents and stuff like that. So, yeah, sorry, yeah, and he gives you a healing potion. He says, it should come this way, back to the guard station, and we'll... The captain will know more, and he's going to give like a speech and, you know, give instructions.
Yeah.
We'll come.
Are
We'll
are
come.
you okay?
No.
For some
Marginally.
definition of okay.
Okay.
We'll come.
Also, like, physically or emotionally?
I don't think he cares about emotion
I
right
mean,
now.
I mean, it would be weird if you were emotionally. I mean, I say weird. There's definitely some people who are fine right now.
Go on, run on. There's
No, I
probably
mean,
he's leading us.
basically
Oh,
at
okay,
this
yeah.
rate. Sorry. I'm new. This way. Yes.
Also,
Me too.
because I feel like we're gonna forget to do this otherwise. What's your name?
Oh, Nassim.
What?
Nassim.
What was his name?
Amal. His name was Amal.
Thanks.
He was, yeah.
Can I take a look at the short sword?
The short sword is warped from the heat. It's an intense heat burning off of this person. It's not good anymore. Whatever talented, whatever special edge it had, however it was specially forged, it's not anymore.
Question. Would I have heard the nobles talking about, like, what was going... Like, would they have discussed it with me at all? Or, like, would I have heard them talking about, like, you know, the fights in the arena that were going on during the competition, and the fact that there were, like, these, you know, like, the biggest heroes in, like, the world were here.
Roll I'll give you an option here. You can either roll a charisma check to see if they wanted, you know, like if they wanted to relay these stories to you, or a stealth check to see if you overheard them talking about this.
Definitely a charisma check. That is a 19.
So you heard names. I don't know if they meant anything to you. You heard that there were princesses and heroes and incredible people. You heard there were I think in particular the one that would have stuck out to you is the name Orman, which is a deep gnome individual who was known for traveling the Underdark and finding the places where things were so dark that it touched the shadow of the Shadowfell, and bringing back things that even in that area learned to glow, and someone who could go out on her own and take a hit and win. And you heard stories of the other two, certainly. There was... I have to get up the one-shot notes. Vimok, a Aasimar paladin, so rare, so incredibly rare, was there. May have left already. You know they talked about how Orman surprisingly was staying for a little bit. But again, may have left. And then there was the final one, which was Oslo. who, again, a hero you've heard incredible stories of. This one you actually probably listened a little bit more. A skilled and intelligent warrior who could take a hit about much as well as they could deliver one, and could absolutely wreck people. A focus on just complete domination in the ring. You've heard stories of Oslo. You've heard stories of this Goliath fighter.
So I ask the guard if he knows if any of these three champions or any other fighters in the competition have stuck around to help and are if they're helping fight these creatures.
Okay. What he says is, as he's walking you back to this guard tower, he says, I don't exactly know. I'm not palace detail or anything, so I'm not sure. All we know for sure is that a lot of the competitors left already because they didn't win, so they left.
Makes sense.
And we know the king's safe.
That's good.
His sorcerer got him out. The Grand Duke is what I'm supposed to say. The Grand Duke got him out. But mostly, yeah. That's about all that's made it down. You can ask the captain when you see him.
Thank you.
Thanks. I mean, things would be worse if you guys didn't. If people did. Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd probably be dead if not for you.
There'd probably be people who are dead if not for you. I mean, if we're getting into that bit.
Do you want to show us to the guardhouse?
We're here. It's like right here. We're gonna enter.
Oh yes, this we're showing us this guardhouse after we missed it.
We're walking through the courtyard right now. It's crammed full of people, and we're gonna pick up their next episode.
What is this episode thing you're talking about, Nassim?
Nassim's well versed in narrative structure.
Oh, is that a wall that you're breaking right now? It looks so breakable.
Well, no, all the walls are already shattered. Do you not?
No, there's 3 that are standing, but the 4th one is gone.